Yo, what's up? It's your boy Currency 365. Hope you guys are doing well. Legends never die, they stay in our hearts. If you want to support us, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also you can come down here and hit the join button under the video or in our channel section. And you can also join our Patreon, patreon.com/currency365. And we also have Cash App and also PayPal for supports if you want to sow some seeds. Peace out. God bless. Enjoy the video and keep the movement going. Legends. Bye.
I remember reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, and where he talked about the rich don't work for money. I understood the concept, but it took me a while because I think we need to rewire our brains just to think differently. And this is part of the reason that I've been saying, like, people need to prepare and get ready, because having money alone does not make you rich. And I was listening to Dan Martell, and he was going on about this exact same concept. People think having $1 million makes them a millionaire, but it doesn't. What you have on the inside makes you a millionaire. And my grave concern for people in the wealth transfer is thinking, well, I'm in the right investments, so I'm good. The investments aren't the problem. I believe you're probably in the right investments. That's not the problem. The problem is that you think like an employee, because that's what you've been, or you think like a struggling entrepreneur. And so it's not going to be an issue of having the right investments. The issue is what you do after that. And my concern is that people lack the skills. And I'm needing to get better here too, okay? I'm not being critical. I'm trying to bring the revelation that I feel God's giving me to the body, because I don't want to see anybody get millions of dollars or more or less or whatever, and then lose it because they don't have the capacity to generate more. So cash flow is the key thing. And I've got a clip here from Myron Golden that I would like to show you. It's about 10 minutes long. And he talks about the different levels of making money. And I think people need to hear this and see like where they identify. Because for us to be like, if God's giving us a lot of money, that puts a lot of responsibility on us, right? To whom much is given, much is required. So I want to do my part to get the word out to the body of Christ. Hey, you need to prepare and you need to skill up. Like, you need to improve your skills. And why I'm so urgent about this is I believe there's going to be a shift in the political realm at the end of 2024. I believe certain doors are going to open. And like, I'm just really concerned because I don't want people to get to the end of 24 and then be panicking because they didn't anticipate. It took me 2 years to wrap my head around what Robert Kiyosaki talks about when he says that the rich don't work for money. Like, they don't have a job. The rich do other things to create wealth. It took me 2 years to wrap my head around that. And so the urgency that I've been expressing comes from a place of sincere concern for people, because I don't know if you're aware how long it's going to take. Like, what if it takes you 2 years to wrap your head around that concept? And if you wait till the end of 2024 before you change how you think, then you're 2 years behind that. And so we're sitting here at a point, like, it's going to be July soon. We're about halfway through the year, and most people are really motivated at the beginning of the year, but not so much at the end of it. When a lot of other people are just tempted to quit or become complacent or give up on the year or wait till 2024, I think there needs to be a renewed effort. And I want to see unity in the body of Christ amongst the people in the wealth transfer, because there's been way too much, fracturing. Way too much fracturing. There's been way too much hatred and just, like, what are we doing? We serve the same God. We're on the same side. And I very much want to have that unity, connecting with other groups and connecting with other people in the wealth transfer and doing joint projects and doing joint videos and calls and things like that. Like, I think it's time for us to come together. And it's time for us to help each other to be prepared. So I want people to just be aware, like, hey, having money is not the thing. It's going to be how you think and the capacity that you have inside to create income that's really going to determine if you're going to be in a wealth transfer or not. Because one investment, it doesn't matter how much money you make. If you make the money and then you can't generate cash flow after that or generate streams of income, you're going to whittle away at that investment and it's going to be gone at some point. Like, it's not enough of a nest egg that you can just sit on. And I don't believe the Bible shows us that that's the proper way to handle things anyways. We're not told to just sit on things and just hope it lasts long enough. And that has to do with like energy and keeping energy moving and having things in motion, and you know that you need to use it or lose it, and this whole understanding I have about energy, and that's probably a whole other video. But I wanted to share this clip, and I'll also include the link for this full video that I'm showing you in the description. So if you want to watch the whole thing, you can. I start somewhere around the 4-minute mark, and it ends about the 12 or 13-minute mark in what I'm showing. And it's about a 36-minute video, and I got a lot out of it. I really like the way Myron teaches. So you can watch this. And if stuff like this resonates, I'm also going to have links down below for people who are interested in joining a group of like-minded people who meet on Thursday nights on Zoom to discuss this stuff. And actually, if you're not sure you want to do that, I also have a Patreon group. Now, the Patreon group is different than the small groups in that the Patreon group, we're doing bigger group calls. And I was doing every first and third week for that group for calls. I'm doing them every Monday in July. So starting July 3rd for $97, like you can get on those calls. It costs less than the small group calls. And if you're not sure you want to do the small groups, like you can come check it out and see. We're switching to a small group model because it's more interactive and it's just better calls, and it's just the way I know we need to go. But either way, don't feel obligated. I'm going to be sharing lots of good stuff here for nothing and asking for nothing. So if you're liking this kind of content, subscribe, give a thumbs up, share this with somebody that you think would get value out of this, and watch this video. Because I think this will be really helpful for you guys to understand how you need to change how you think.
It's fascinating to me that in Genesis chapter 1, God gave us so many success principles. And one of the success principles that I found in Genesis chapter 1 is what I call the 4 levels of value, right? So the 4 levels of value are, the lowest level of value is implementation. Implementation, we use our muscles. The resources we use our muscles over time to create money. Well, when we're talking about building wealth is a spiritual outcome. Money, the essence of money is not materialistic at all. The essence of money is spiritual. The essence of wealth is spiritual. It's spiritual because you have to do something for somebody other than yourself. You have to be consumed with someone other than yourself in order to create it. It's spiritual because of the message that it carries. A $100 bill is worth more than a penny because a $100 bill says $100. A penny says 1 cent, which means 1% of $1. So therefore, it's spiritual because of the message it carries, and language is something that only spiritual beings have. Monkeys can't count money. Dogs don't have money. Eagles don't have money. Lions don't have money. Why? Because they're not spiritual beings. They are bahema, and it is what it is. We are Adams. What is an Adam? An Adam is Aleph, Daled, Mem. Daled Mem is blood. Aleph is God. We are a God-like creation with flesh and blood. The life of the flesh is in the blood. So if I'm using my muscles are a physical resource, and I'm using them over time. Time is a limited resource. I'm multiplying a limited resource a physical resource times a limited resource, and I'm attempting to produce an unlimited result. It can't happen. You don't have the right ingredients. It's like putting pickles and ketchup and mustard and eggs and peanut butter in a bowl and stirring it up and putting it in the oven and hoping to get chocolate cake. It can't happen. The ingredients are wrong. Okay, so if I am operating down here and I'm working really hard down here, I'm going to make somewhere between minimum wage to $80,000 a year. How did I come up with that? So I'm going to make minimum wage. Mariah, can I get another pen? Because I press too hard. It's me, it's not you. Okay, so I get excited and I talk loud and I talk fast and I start pressing this and it's just grinding down my tips on my markers. Thank you. So minimum wage and $80,000 a year. How do I come up with those numbers? Well, minimum wage, the government's going to guarantee that you get so much, right? And people are fighting. I love what Jim Rohn said. People are fighting for a higher minimum wage. Why do you plan on staying there that long? Like, why don't you fight to earn more than minimum wage? Anyway, just a thought. Okay, so minimum wage. If you're making tacos at Taco Bell, you're going to make minimum wage, whatever that is. I don't know what it is. $8 an hour, $10 an hour, $12, $15, whatever it is. Minimum wage. $80,000 a year. If you work on high-end cars, you might make $80K a year. Okay, but there's a cap. It doesn't matter how much harder you work on this level. There is a limit to the amount of money you will be able to make. Hard work does not equal wealth. Okay, so what's the next level? The next level is unification. What's unification? We use our management skills on this level to create wealth. Management skills. In other words, we're no longer the person who does the thing. We're the person who manages the people who do the thing. And so that's how we make our money. On this level, we're going to make somewhere between, on the low end, $40K a year for managing Taco Bell, up to, what, $250K a year if we're a mid-level manager at Lockheed Martin. So this is better income-wise, but the one problem with that is if a company's paying you to be a manager, especially at that level, they want you to know they own you, right? They own you. They don't just want you to know they own you. They want you to know they know it, right? We own you. We ain't paying you this much money so you can go to your kid's soccer game, right? Okay, so wealth doesn't matter how hard you work down here. Working harder is not going to make you wealthy. Now, you can live down here your whole life and still be wealthy because wealth that you create is going to be determined by what you do with the money that you make, not how much money you make. Okay? So, but you're not going to create wealth by working harder down here. Wealth doesn't start to be created until we get above the line. So, what's this level? This level is communication. And on this level, we use our mouth to create money. I mean, we could also write, but we're going to just communication, okay? So, on the low end, you're going to make $100,000 a year, and on the high end, you could make hundreds of millions of dollars a year. Hundreds of millions. You sell cars, you can make $100,000 a year selling cars. You make $100,000 a year selling insurance. You make $100,000 a year selling real estate. You can make more than that, but if you're an A-list actor, an A-list singer, or you're a songwriter like Dolly Parton, you can make $100 million a year. Communication. Here's what's interesting. While I was growing up and everybody was telling me that children are to be seen and not heard, and they were telling me sit still and be quiet, nobody told me that the key to fortune is in communication. This book right here, I wrote this book. It's called Boss Moves. And boss is not me bossing you around. It's certainly not you bossing me around, so let's don't get it twisted. Okay, so it's called Boss Moves. BOSS is an acronym that stands for Business Optimization Success Secrets, or if you're referring to a person that's a boss, Business Optimization Success Strategist. That's a person who's a boss, right? So we show people how to optimize their businesses. Optimize, oh, that's like sharpening the axe. Are you seeing the connection? Well, up here, you use your mouth, okay? Now, the highest level of value is imagination. And on this level, we use our mind and our money to make money. Now, here's what's cool. This is the highest level of value. Up here, you're going to make on the low end, you're going to make $1 million a year. On the high end, it could be billions or more. One of the things I found out, I worked way harder when I was down here. I was never here. Okay, that was not me. I was down here. I was the person they were telling what to do. It didn't matter how hard I worked, the amount of money I made was always going to be limited at the lower levels of value. How many of y'all track it? And so what we got to do is we want to get to the place in our lives where we say, like, I don't need to work harder to make more money. If I want to create wealth, I don't need to work harder, I need to work higher. Work at a higher level. It's not about delivering more value at the lower levels. It's about delivering a higher value. Are y'all tracking with me? It's about delivering a higher value for other people at a higher level. So when I focus on working higher, I wrote a book. This book makes me hundreds of dollars, sometimes thousands of dollars a day. I wrote the book one time. So did I work hard? It took me a year and a half to write this. Like, I wanted to make sure when it came out, it had the show enough in it, right? So it took me a year and a half to write this book. But once I got it done, I don't do any work on it at all anymore. I don't do anything. I created an asset that income can follow. So what did I do? I thought about the concepts. I wrote the concepts in the book. Now the book makes me between, I don't know, $15,000 and $30,000 a month. Just that one asset. Now, I'm not saying that so you can think, oh, Myron's so cool, he makes it. It has nothing to do with it. I'm just showing you where the wealth is. And it's not at working harder at what's not working. It's in sharpening the axe, sharpening the mindset axe, so you can have a perspective that you didn't have before. Most people can't seize wealth, S-I-E-Z-E, because they can't see wealth, S-E-E. You can't see where it's at with your eyes, so you can't seize it with your hands. How many of y'all tracking? Wave at me, my peeps. And so what we got to do is we got to get to the place in our lives where we can see the wealth so we can seize the wealth. By the way, when I say see the wealth and I say we need to sharpen the axe in our mind, we don't see with our eyes, we see with our mind. Our eyes are just one of the instruments our mind uses to see.